Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Me? Well, the future works cough is thankfully subsiding, and I had a pretty relaxing day on Saturday, strolling aimlessly around London, visiting some of my mum's old haunts. One thing though, I wandered around large parts of Battersea, Vauxhall, and Clapham in South London. Now, I don't know if it was the Londoner in me coming out, or if I'm just of that age, but I had a hankering for a bacon roll and a cup of tea. Simple, I thought. Just keep walking and you're bound to stumble across a greasy spoon. Nope. I could have eaten food from Korea, India, Mexico, China, Italy, Nigeria, and Thailand. And I could have drunk coffee, sourced sustainably, of course, from the four corners of the globe. But could I find a single calf? And when I say calf, I mean calf, not cafe. I mean a calf. Chipped mugs, chipped plates, bloke behind the counter with a fag hanging out of his mouth? Nope. What the hell is this country coming to when you can't find a cup of tea and a bacon roll? And that has inspired today's question of the day. We've also got a packed show for you today. So without further ado, let me post the question of the day, roll the intro, and get this show on the road. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Mark Anthony. It's Monday, the 4th of April, and as that remarkably persistent guy just said, welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony. In today's show, friends and family mourn the demolition worker killed in the Boston collapse that we reported on last week. A demolition boss has been fined over stashing asbestos in storage containers. Can you tell what it is yet? And demolition's shoddy shop window. We'll get to all of that in just a second. But first, let's see who among the rich and the shameless will be celebrating a birthday on this day of days. Happy birthday! And it's many happy returns to blues legend Muddy Waters and to poet Maya Angelou, to psycho actor Anthony Perkins, Slade guitarist and the man with the worst haircut in human history, Dave Hill, and to cricketer turned pundit Jonathan Agnew, to chat show host Graham Norton, and weird illusionist David Blaine. But far more importantly, a very happy birthday to the man who brought Tony Stark and Iron Man to life, Mr. Robert Downey Jr. Many happy returns to them, one and all. A demolition company boss has been sentenced after posing as an asbestos removal specialist and storing the deadly material in a lock-up container near a school. Lincoln Crown Court heard that between 2017 and 2019, Lee Charles acted as a de facto director of Links Demolition and secured a number of lucrative contracts after marketing himself as a registered asbestos removal specialist. Charles worked across 43 towns and in England, and also claimed to be registered with the Environment Agency. He was neither a specialist nor registered. Having duped his customers, waste asbestos was stashed in hired storage containers in Wellbourne in Lincolnshire, just 200 metres from a school and close to a Girl Guide centre. When he failed to pay the rent on the containers, the owners forced the locks and were confronted with the dangerous contents. Once exposed, Charles abandoned the storage containers and moved his activities to an unpermitted waste site in Little Hale near Sleaford. He continued to store asbestos unsafely, posing a risk to public health. Imposing a 12-month prison sentence, recorder Paul Mann told Charles, who has a string of previous convictions, that he knew the regulatory regime well enough to know what he was doing was seriously wrong. Charles was told that he must return to Lincoln Crown Court in June for consideration of financial orders, including the potential confiscation of his proceeds of crime. You can read more about that over on constructioninquirer.com. And I'll be coming back to this and a bunch of other demolition misdemeanors towards the end of the show.
The Miller GT series heralds a new era of unrivaled power and cutting-edge intelligent coupler technology, increasing job site safety, machine versatility, and productivity. It's the added versatility that you need at the value you can afford. To find out more, visit millergroundbreaking.com.
Tributes have been paid to a demolition worker who was tragically killed when a parking garage in Boston collapsed last week.
It'll be a lot of work for crews out here, and they are working carefully to remove 115 tons of debris that came crashing down to the ground when part of this parking garage collapsed last week. And as that work begins, many are honoring the life of the demolition worker killed in that collapse, 51-year-old Peter Mancini. Today, dozens of trucks drove under 2 American flags outside Mancini's southeastern house, his family watching on. Mancini was a 20-year member of the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 4. He died when the concrete he was working on at the Government Center garage collapsed below him, falling 9 stories. As crews start the work of removing tons of debris and rubble from the Government Center garage, Mancini's family is preparing to lay him to rest. Calling hours will be held tomorrow from 3 until 7 at Russell and Pica Funeral Home in Brockton. A funeral mass will take place 9:30 Monday morning at Holy Cross Church in Southeaston. And tonight, the Green Line remains suspended between North Station and Government Center as crews work. The Orange Line is running again, but is bypassing the Haymarket stop. Live in Boston, Emily Maha, WCBB News Center 5.
I'll add that one to the discussion points for a little bit later in the show. Right, before I get to the more serious bit, I have a little game for you, a competition, if you will. There's no prize as such, just the glory of having outwitted your fellow viewers. I'm about to play you a video. It's a video about the manufacture of a piece of construction equipment. But precisely what item of equipment is the video about? Answers in the chat, and the first correct answer wins the admiration of us all, and I'll be astounded if anyone gets it in under a minute. As Rolf Harris used to say before he was banged up, can you tell what it is yet?
This is a story about commitment, quality, and innovation. A company driven by customer demand. It's a long journey. We, the experts in the field, together with the people who place enormous trust in us, our customers. We listened. And we understood the market and the expectations. We built our foundation on performance, efficiency, and reliability. For the market, for our customers. Our concept, a modular construction system, standardized components, modular combinable. This is the new design philosophy. The product design is the key to our new efficient production process. A process that optimizes material handling. Starting with generic prefabrication, component manufacturing for each product line. High quality powder coating. We are creating a new philosophy. And we are creating innovation. In development, engineering, and production. Innovations right through to the work of our assemblers. And it's global. We create asphalt plants that already comply with tomorrow's standards, sustainably, with an ecological conscience. Plants with hot gas generators that allow the highest possible recycling rates with low emissions. And we continue to develop new recycling technologies new filter technologies. We go hand in hand with our customers. Fast delivery, high quality, with philosophy, innovation and design. To the very end. We are a lifelong partner. With quality, with loyalty, and with a passion. Innovation for our customers.
It was almost as if the voiceover artist had been told specifically not to mention the product itself. I'll be pleased to announce that our friend Al Grierson managed to get the answer correct. It was indeed an asphalt plant, although he did guess concrete mixing plant to begin with, which would have been my guess, funnily enough. But yes, it was an asphalt plant from the fine folks at Benninghoven, part of the Wirtgen Group. Now, I'm about to get serious, so let's get this advert out of the way, and then I'll get down to business.
Axoft and Svantec are your high-end partners for noise, vibration, dust and air quality systems, sensors and software. To find out more, visit axoft.co.uk or call 01234 639 550.
Imagine for a second that you have no connection to the demolition or construction business. And imagine that your son or daughter comes home from a careers evening at their school and proudly and excitedly announces that they want to pursue a career in demolition. You're a good parent and you want to be supportive, particularly as this sounds a lot more attainable than a career as a YouTube influencer. So you grab your smartphone and you punch into Google the word demolition and hit search. Assuming you're searching chronologically, your first exposure to the industry that has so attracted your son or daughter would be unlikely to fill you with any degree of confidence. In the past week or so, the key industry headlines read as follows. A building collapsed unexpectedly into a street in Stevenage. Thankfully, no one was hurt. A week on and the road remains closed and an investigation is underway. Another building collapsed while undergoing demolition in America, killing a demolition worker. A UK demolition company boss has just been found guilty of stashing highly dangerous asbestos in containers, potentially exposing the public to risk. And the UK demolition industry finds itself under investigation for alleged collusion. The web of intrigue is apparently so entangled that it's still being unpicked and unravelled 3 years on. Suddenly, that alternative career as a YouTube influencer doesn't sound quite so bad, does it? A successful career as a YouTuber is virtually impossible. It is right up there with a professional footballer, an astrophysicist, or the person responsible for getting Scarlett Johansson into her Black Widow costume. But in each of those, the likelihood is that your precious offspring would make it home safely every night. The likelihood is that they would not be constantly looking over their shoulder, living in fear of investigation or prosecution. And you, as their parent, wouldn't be constantly worried about their whereabouts or what they'd gotten themselves into. Demolition, like construction, offers a superb opportunity to any young person that is willing to graft, to learn their trade, to learn new and hone existing skills. There is a clearly defined career path that leads to a future of promotion, greater responsibility, and a suitably lucrative level of reward. It's also a sector that can create lifelong friendships and partnerships. I would, and I have, recommended it to friends and relatives. But in order for the industry to attract those young people, it must mend its outward appearance. As in all walks of life, first impressions matter. And the first impression of demolition is not of exciting and dynamic careers. It's of risk, danger, and a somewhat lax approach to the letter of the law. Each new accident or fatality slams the employment door in the face of a potential new recruit. Each new prosecution means another young person being advised by their protective parents to pursue a career in a less sketchy business. Every business sector has a shop window. The shop window of the tech world, for example, is lit in electric blue and it carries the promise of a futuristic lifestyle and endless opportunity. The shop window of the sporting world offers riches beyond measure, of sporting greatness and of celebrity. The shop window of demolition right now comprises a pile of rubble that shouldn't be there, several injured workers, and a growing pile of court papers. If you knew nothing about demolition, would you push your child towards that shop window? I just wanted to mention very quickly that I spent a large part of yesterday curating all the content from last week's Future Works event. All the 7 shows that we broadcast live from the showground are now over on our YouTube channel. In addition, I've also started to pick out some of the best interviews we did during the show, including a superb conversation with Jennifer Thompson of Machine Max about the need to make the best use of the fuel we have while we're still waiting for the fuel of the future to arrive. There's also a conversation with Hoppy from Hexagon Geosystems that I'm especially proud of. That one is called Future Vision, and you can find it on our YouTube channel using the link that I've just posted in the chat. Do me a favor while you're there. Please be sure to subscribe so you're alerted to every new video as it drops. Excuse me one second. I thought I'd killed the cough off, but apparently not. Now, if you prefer to absorb these conversations through your ears rather than through your eyes, both the Machine Max and the Hexagon interviews are available as an audio podcast too. Just go to your chosen podcast platform and search for Demolition News Radio. Or, better still, get your smart speaker to do the searching for you. Just one final point on all things Future Works, at least for now. In addition to all our output during the event, my construction collective colleague Peter Haddock pretty much smashed the Future Works event, producing something like 20 films from all of the key stands. If you care to binge watch those, as I did yesterday, then go to YouTube and search for Content with Media, and you can thank me later. Now, demolition contractors within easy reach of Grimsby, lend me your ears. This one's for you. $9 million of your finest English quids have been set aside for the construction of a new warehouse on Marsden Road in Grimsby. The client in this instance is Yearsley Food, and Russell WBHO has been given the nod for the construction portion of the works. But before they can make a start, there is the small matter of demolishing the Lineage Logistics ambient warehouse, whatever an ambient warehouse is, that currently resides on the site. And at the time of broadcast, a suitable demolition contractor has yet to be appointed. Now, you can find out more about this project lead and many more like it over at buildersconference.co.uk. Alternatively, if you prefer to have these project leads sent directly to your inbox, then please call Nigel O'Sullivan on the number that is currently at the foot of your screen. He is standing by to take your call.
Sorry to interrupt the guy with the funny glasses, but if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button as it helps our channel. Or, better still, share this video with a friend or a colleague. Thank you. Right, back to Beardy.
Right, that should just about do us for today's show. I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into the chat to see what you're all saying today. If you can't stick around, please stay safe. Please stay safe. Look after yourself, your family, your friends and your colleagues, and thanks for watching. If you do have the time, however, please stick around and I'll see you on the other side of what I'm about to play. And also, be here tomorrow because all things being equal, we will have not one, but 2 special guests. So stick around if you can.